John, are they doing Small Business Week at all this year again? Are they going to try to do anything?
Their best laid plans. We had planned on having like a Beacon Hill Day and just really talking issues and so forth. But we had a great lineup and great plan. It was going to be at Suffolk Law School, close to the State House, and we had to handle it like everything else, right? So we got to look at doing some virtual things, though. Right now the message has to be small businesses, give them a lifeline, get them open.
Right now,
I feel this reopens, we're going to be much more appreciative of our small businesses.
That's right. I think this has been horrible, but I think if we do this right, we can re-educate the consumer about where they should be spending their money.
Right. Exactly.
There you go. Guys, I think we're live. I'm pretty sure we're live. Let's just double make sure. And yes, we are live. It's Good Morning Gloucester. It is GloucesterCast 414. We have a very esteemed guest with us today. We have a bunch of our friends with us that let me see, how many podcast virgins do we have right here? We have Peg. You've never been on.
Never been on.
So that's Peg from Pop Gallery. John Hurst, the president of the Retailers Association of Massachusetts, is with us. John, say hi.
Pleased to be with you. Thank you for the invitation, Joe.
Thank you for coming. We have Donna Ardizzoni, who is no stranger to Good Morning Gloucester.
And I'm grateful for that.
Thank you, Donna. Jimmy Dalpiaz is with us.
I don't own a store, but I love to go shop. So I'm here listening to you guys.
And Pauline Bresnahan. Did I miss anybody?
Nope.
Pauline, say hi.
Hi, everybody.
There she is.
Good Morning Gloucester, and all my friends that own small businesses that I invited today. I hope they're watching. John, is so interesting to have you here, and a lot of our small businesses are really wondering what comes next. I mean, we know there's been some changes this week. And a lot of us have questions, and we really haven't been informed yet. So we're hoping you can help us with what the governor has decided this week.
Happy to do that. If you want me to just go ahead and jump in, Pauline and Joey. Look, look, what we've dealt with here, we've never dealt with before. And when with the first order way back in March, we looked at a reality of 3 weeks. What we thought at that point would be 3 weeks. Everybody would, stay at home, quarantine at home. Everybody, all the businesses, large and small, would be closed of all types, except for a few real essentials, the grocers and convenience stores, pharmacies and the like. But, it became clear, a week or two into that first closure that it was going to get extended, and it got extended another 4 weeks. And then as we started heading towards May, that 7 weeks, it was clear it was going to be extended again. The goalposts, so to speak, were pushed back again and again. So what was 3 weeks and then 7 weeks became 9 weeks. And our point all along was that, look, the decision-making was all about healthcare, as it should have been in the early days. But as the goalposts kept on getting pushed back, we have to become, with each passing day, with each passing week, we need to be a little more reflective on what we're doing to our main streets, what we're doing to our small businesses, what the messages that we're sending to our consumers, where we're driving them with their dollars. We needed to, as the goalposts get pushed back, so to speak, we needed to give these small businesses a first down, so to speak. Give them a lifeline to still survive through this period of time. And what occurred this past week was something, frankly, we pushed for as we were reaching the first movement of the goalpost and didn't get it, but we did get it this time. And that was the ability for stores to, although you're closed, to be able to still operate behind closed doors, behind locked doors, and serve your customers with through internet orders, phone orders, email orders, and whether it be delivery, contactless delivery, or shipping. This is something that frankly, we got to the point we were an outlier. Most all states prohibited it early on, but then as the weeks went by, they loosened it up. We allowed it from day one, even for our restaurants, and I'm pleased that we are allowed, like takeout and delivery and curbside for our restaurants. But we needed that same type of flexibility to start going towards our stores as well. Unfortunately, we didn't get the curbside. Hopefully, that would be the next step, along with perhaps maybe by appointment only type of services to customers. But at least now, stores, whether you be a gift store, a jeweler, a shoe store, obviously a florist, you can be servicing your customers, and what it's so important right now with Mother's Day coming up Sunday, the ability to at least deliver flowers and gifts to mom, from a closed store.
Yeah, 100%. John, just to go back with your bio, you've served as the president of the Retailers Association of Massachusetts since 1990. As CEO of the 4,000-member statewide trade association, you manage the member services, education, and public affairs of the organization. The Retailers Association of Massachusetts was organized in 1918 as the voice of retailing in Massachusetts, and today represents stores and restaurants of all types and sizes. You also serve as the chairman of the board of the Mass Retail Merchants Workers Compensation Group, Inc., a nonprofit group organized by RAM in 1991. Those are some big shoes to fill right there.
I have a question right off the bat. It started in 1918 during the flu pandemic. I wonder if there was any such correlation then, or is that, did it begin as a result of having a similar kind of challenge to, the butcher and everyone then?
Great question.
That's a great question. And yes, I mean, you think about what was going on then. I think it started in Boston, the downtown crossing area. And as you would expect, some of the jewelers there, some of the old line department stores,
Jordan Marsh.
Jordan Marsh, Pauline, and some other names that aren't around anymore. But it was this group of merchants that got together and decided, hey, we can accomplish more collectively working together, in both messaging to our consumers, but also messaging to our public policy leaders than we can alone. And that was challenging times back then, just as it's challenging times now. And it's all the more important today that we speak with one voice. We speak and let our customers know that where they spend their money is important, because the consumer is 70% of our economy. We get it in this day of these things here, the smartphone. They can spend their money anywhere around the world without ever leaving their couch, but we want them to invest in their main streets with their small businesses. And it's important that our public policy leaders understand that as well. That's why we need to be taking these steps, even if it's step-by-step baby steps, to get the main streets back open again safely and get our consumers to feel safe, that they can come out and spend their dollars locally. We get it that to date the messaging has been all around the healthcare industry and COVID, but it's time to change the messaging. To be quite honest with you, I mean, we've kind of got to a point where, from the consumer standpoint, they were looking at this from a position of fear, and now it's time to move it towards caution. Look, we certainly have grocery stores as members, right? And for people going into grocery stores, early on and hoarding toilet paper. And now they're hoarding meat. They're going to our appliance dealers and buying freezers to put away months worth of meat. There's supply chain issues on the meat, but it's also a hoarding issue as well. That people have been instilled with this fear that you can't get out, you're not going to be able to provide for your families, you're not going to be able to get food. need to change the dynamic, and whether that messaging is coming from our federal, state, and local elected officials, whether it's from our business associations like ours and local chambers of commerce, whether it's from our local business leaders, whether it's from our healthcare industry, we need to change the messaging and say, yeah, we have a healthcare crisis here, but here's what we can do to stay safe. But here's what we also need to do to support our small businesses and keep our dollars local.
And as a small business owner, I think you have to become like Peg and Pauline, creative. You know,
We've done it ever since we started, you know, and
have
that's the mantra for a small business is
and you have to
find
keep your customers in your grasp because you don't want them to forget you.
right.
And with some of my stuff, with my photography, a lot of that stuff is not going to happen. I got stuff hanging places, but
Wedding clients, do you still do custom things like that, Donna? Are you still serving wedding clients, you know?
I don't do weddings.
No.
I mean, I'm selling note cards. A
Yeah.
lot of people ask for the note cards because they're communicating with family,
Right.
friends, and, you know, and I'm trying to donate what I can.
Yeah.
But I love going in your stores. You know,
Thank
I'm a
That's a
real
question. That's a question that I have for John and everybody else is, do you think it's a priority that you want to sell a product or you just want to get people in the stores? Where is the priority line?
Well, from my standpoint, I'll let the small business owners speak to that as far as, I think it's both. My job is to give them a shot, give them a shot to reach to their customers. And if we don't balance the messaging and balance the importance of allowing consumers to buy from these small businesses, there are going to be some that can't pay their rent. They can't pay their suppliers, their vendors that are supplying their products, their inventory, and it's putting them at jeopardy. And so we feel like we need to get these establishments open as soon as possible. There's going to be people pushing against that, but let's try to get some of these establishments open, by May 18th. And if that doesn't happen, sometime that week, to allow for the very important Memorial Day weekend, some commerce to occur, because we know in places like Cape Ann how important a weekend like Memorial Day weekend is.
These rents that keep coming at you. I mean, I can't imagine having a downtown rent and not being able to sell your merchandise. I mean, that's some scary stuff.
I mean, most of us purchased our inventory for the spring, summer in January, February. I know I did. So I'm already, I've paid it forward, and now I'm sitting on a lot of inventory. So I have to pay that down. We also have employee stuff, and again, rent, all the utilities and all that stuff. But what a lot of us have done, when you live in a community like this, you're also sort of savvy about, at least if you've been around long enough, you're savvy about the times of year that are peak and valley. And so at least, I thank God I pay my rent forward through April from after Christmas, because I can. I'm flush and right after holiday, and then the lean months. So at least I loped through till April. But I know some retailers, maybe didn't set aside that time. We could never have seen this coming.
Right.
I could never, that I wasn't going to now be booming again for Mother's Day, et cetera. But the thing about small businesses is traditionally we are so flexible because we have to be. We follow our customers individually. We're not looking at big trends. We're looking at microcosms, and we know who our customers are. We know who our loyalists are. Pauline knows, Donna, and we all know who's going to show up for us through thick and thin. And so, those people are the ones we play to year round. And tourism is incredibly important as we approach the summer. But, that's why the downtown mantra has to be support your neighbors, because I'm the one also supporting your kids' soccer team, your kids' drama club, your generous gardeners, every museum here in town. The donations that we give year round from our businesses, I can only imagine, thousands of dollars of gift certificates and goods and services there's a drive, a raffle going on right now. We gave for a Mother's Day to select a woman in town who's both a healthcare worker and deserving. So, that started by Treetop Yoga and a number of other businesses.
Right.
So, I mean, we know how to do this. It's just that the public needs to not think of Jeff Bezos as the alternate there. He's got enough money. It's your neighbors and your local street downtown that needs your love and attention right now. And guess what? My store is 600 square feet. You can't have more than a couple people at a time. It's safer than any possible mall and less carbon imprint than having all these trucks driving around for Amazon deliveries. So
true.
just a couple there.
Pauline, Pauline, you had a bunch of questions from other retail folks that wanted to ask him. I'm going to let you take the floor right now and ask John the questions that you had compiled.
So thanks, Joey. John, there was one question I had was, when we are as small retailers, like we have 1 or 2 customers in a store, will the state set out a guideline for us to for our customers? Because I'm willing to open. I know I can be safe, but I want my customers to know what they need to do to come into my establishment, how they have to prepare, whether it's a mask or something. And I just feel like I don't want to have to tell somebody they can't stay. I want them to know ahead of time, this is the guidelines to come into my business. Is there a way that...
That's a great question. And what we've been emphasizing, we presented to the reopening advisory committee, what we've said to them, what we've said to the Baker-Polito administration, what we've also presented to a consortium of mayors throughout the greater Boston area is this. Look, we are willing to do what we need to do to make our customers feel safe. And we do believe that the face coverings is an important part of that. We don't want to be the police, if the state's going to set up these requirements and arguably they should on face coverings, it needs to be enforced by, the boards of health and police officers that don't make the small business person, become a police officer themselves, but, create that requirement, maybe put up a sign and say, to enter under, state order, you must be wearing a face covering, and you as your employees should be wearing them as well. You probably should be making hand sanitizer available, is what we're suggesting, as well. And look, I think we've learned some things from the so-called essential businesses that have been open, whether it be grocery stores or pharmacies, hardware stores, pet supply stores, and the like. There are going to be some requirements on square footage. Grocery stores, it can be 40% of your fire occupancy. Now, I don't know if any of you know what your fire occupancy is, so I don't know if that's the right standard. I mean, a grocery store, a large grocery store would know. A lot of small mom and pops may not know. But you do know what your square footage is on selling space. So
we know what fire occupancy is on ladies' night.
Okay. All right. So I think there's going to be some guidance on what is the right number of people, per 1,000 square feet, percentage of fire occupancy, maybe either or both. And it's going to be generally in the world of what can you do to keep, that 6 feet social distancing, at any given time with your employees and with your customers.
John, are you saying that they have to come up with their own X marks the spot? And because I heard you say that you're suggesting that they should have hand sanitizer there, but do they have to come up with their own plan and submit it? Or is the state going to come with a guideline? What's going to happen so people who are watching today, they're going to get the idea that, before they come in, they go hit Pauline shop and everyone and Peg shop?
No, I think there's going to be some statewide guidance under the orders about, even what came out this week, on the fulfillment out of locked stores. That said that, an owner, which previously it could only be the owner and is his or her establishment to do, critical functions, which critical was never defined, and who knows if that included, shipping and delivery, right, of ordered goods. That gives you that that order told you how many people you could have in a locked store in addition to the owner. Generally, it was, even for a very large store, that the cap was 7 people, or even a fulfillment center. And generally for a small store, it was like 3. 3 to 7 was the ratio. You're going to see similar types of, maybe not quite that conservative, a little more leniency, but you're going to see some guidelines on how many people you can go out there. So that's important both for the small business owner for their shops, but also important messaging to your customers that, know what to expect. There may be, look, if you're a restaurant or a store, there may be, you may be looking at, some requirements that only X number of people can be in the store at a certain time. If you're a restaurant, maybe it's going to only be 25% normal occupancy, or at the most, and starting there and then going up to 50% over a course of a few weeks. This is going to be a step-by-step process that everyone has to be in it together with face coverings, with hand sanitizers, and keeping that social distancing parameters to the extent possible.
I just got a thing came across my screen. Neiman Marcus just filed for bankruptcy. I know J. Crew just filed for bankruptcy a couple of days ago. So some of these big box stores are probably not able to be as nimble as our small downtown places. Hopefully our small downtown places, can withstand with the openings. If we can get a little bit nimble here and creative with what we can do, we withstand it and come out of this stronger than ever. Hopefully, that's the hope, I guess.
I think so too. I believe that people are going to appreciate that you can go into Pauline's or Pop Gallery and get something you need, and the owner, and you laugh, and it's a nicer feeling than going into Macy's.
Thank you, Donna. That's like, for us, we've provided a social, I consider the store more like my living room than my living room is. And I have as good a stocked bar at Pop usually, to be honest with you. But, during ladies' night and festival season and stuff, it becomes a social draw. And this is where neighbors come to shoot the breeze and find out about all kinds of other information.
And lots of laughs.
Yeah, and back to the point about the hand sanitizer and things. We've been doing that all along since we converted over to Square system, which so many of us use, like an iPad system for checking out for a register. We have hand sanitizer and stuff. We wipe that screen. Totally. I mean, because that's always the case. Like, you're always touching this pad surface. So way long ago when we started using that, we wiped that down and, use it because, for whatever reason, just to be thoughtful about it. And I think everybody's conscientious, period, in a small store. You have to keep it clean, and you can't have that many people in. I'd love to be worried about how many people I can have in at a time. It happens really on those festival nights and block parties and ladies' nights.
All right, we're going to switch it up just a little bit right now, because I am remiss that I did not do what I was supposed to do with our podcast virgins in the beginning. We have a feature called Death Row Sub and Death Row Meal, and this is for people that haven't been on the podcast before. So John and Peggy, these are for you. You have to put your mindset that you're on death row, and the warden comes in and he says, this is your last meal. And it's a 2-part question. But he says, this is your last meal. We're going to get you a sub. Now, it has to be at a sub shop or a deli or a restaurant. What sub is it going to be, and what place are you going to order it at? The second part is, after he gets that from you, and you've been so gracious with him, and the warden kind of has taken a liking to you. He says, you've been so great. We're gonna get you a meal at a restaurant. What's your death row meal, and what restaurant is it coming from? This can't be homegrown. This can't be your mother's sub or something like this. So sub and meal. I'm gonna start with John. Go ahead.
Well, I would love a good Italian sub. There's some great places up there in Gloucester to get one from. I haven't had a good Italian sub in a while. And although, look, they've been, fortunately, we've been able to give them some of our restaurants, particularly those that have that model, right? That they've been able to do a lot of their model is carry out. Always, that's been the backbone, and that would be a great thing for me. And then after that, hey, I would love to have a nice sit down Italian pasta meal, with a glass of Pinot Noir.
I'm sensing that John is being, he can't say one place. I understand where you're coming from, John, because you represent so many. I put you.
One place versus another.
Right. I put you on the spot there. Okay, Peg, you can though. So Peg, you gotta name the sub, where you're getting it from, and name the restaurant and the meal. Death Row. This is it.
No, Death Row, Destino's eggplant. No. Okay, I know what it is because it really is the thing that I get all the time, and it's comfort food to me. It is Sugar Mags BLT, toasted, lathered with mayo, a little bit of cheese, Missy's bread, crisp bacon. Okay, so is that sub like?
Yes, yep, 100%. That's a first for that one. So I hope Pat's taking notes right now, because we've got a list. We have a spreadsheet, and that's one of the first for Sugar Mags.
Okay, and the corn chowder. But anyway, I digress. The meal is wicked hot, Joey.
I love that. Wicked hot. That's my English.
Yeah, it is. Somerville, Massachusetts. Donna, Ardizzoni.
There's too many choices. But can I start with the lemon drop at the Franklin?
Yes.
Do I get the Frank in there? Anyway, okay, so meal would be it's either Passport short ribs, or it's the cod with garlic mash, and those mushrooms, the shiitake mushrooms at the Franklin, or it's Passport's. It's either the short rib there with the slaw and oh man. And then there's Tono's, like the bolognese. And
all right. I'm cutting you off.
Making me hungry.
I
never got a chance to answer that question ever.
Yeah. All right. We'll give it to you. We'll give it. Go ahead.
So I know I would go get the tuna fish sub at the Yellow Sub.
All right.
Yes.
It's been around. My friend Renee started Yellow Sub years and years ago, and it's my ultimate favorite, with pickles, tomatoes. And then my favorite dinner in Gloucester is to go down the cupboard, get fried clams, and spring it over and sit on the wall and just eat it right there. That to me is true Gloucester, and
that sounds wonderful.
But now you can get those martinis and margaritas to go, so I could actually stop at one of the restaurants.
But you can't sit on the wall, Pauline, after the martinis.
Well,
the warden will keep her safe.
And I love
Put it in a cup.
I love the cupboard. I can't wait for them to open up.
I love the cupboard.
You know what I love at the cupboard is the fish sandwich, the fried fish sandwich. And they always use like these nice thin pieces of fish, and it's just a perfect ratio of soft grilled bun to fried fish. So good, so good.
Yeah, it's just all Gloucester.
Oh, that would be my last meal, because I'm allergic to fish that have to revive me.
so they could take you out. Yeah, there you go.
Super.
Can I just ask John one question quick?
Go ahead.
What do you think that we'll be able, how far down the road have they made a determination yet of when retail stores will be able to open? And will it be at the same time that restaurants will?
That's a great question. And I don't know you could look at the order and assume there's going to be some level of openings on May 18th, but you can also assume that, the plan will be made official with maybe some step-by-step announcements prior to the 18th. I am guessing that, look, we're pushing for openings for stores and restaurants that week, prior to Memorial Day weekend. We think that's an important message for the store owners, the restaurant owners and their customers, to do some step-by-step openings. I think this is going to be a process. I think some stores may not, in some restaurants they may be told that they can open, but it may not, the parameters may be so tight that maybe they choose not to open. Maybe they can only have certain certain percentage of seating if you're a restaurant, and maybe they'll view that, well, that isn't quite where they want to be in order to get their staffs back and reopen. I'm hoping that we will see everyone given the opportunity that week, the week of the 18th, to open, and it may be, again, kind of limited on numbers of customers that you can have in there, and things like a restaurant. Maybe you cannot have people at the bar initially, because let's face it, you can far better social distance in tables, take out half your tables than you can at a bar. There may be some restrictions like that as we enter some reopenings. And look, I'm not expecting customers to come streaming back the way they were.
I don't know. I think that there's a lot of pent up demand. Talking to my friends and talking to my wife, who's a homebody. I've said this probably every podcast. My wife is like, wants to be like this with the covers right here, fuzzy blanket, watching Netflix, and like that's her ideal night. That's all she has said, is she cannot wait for the stores and the restaurants to open, because she's going out every single night as soon as they open up. She can't wait to get back in.
And as soon as our income gets back to, because, I'm self-employed.
Yeah,
and we can't go out to clients. Some of them didn't open. My seasonal customers, they didn't open. So even though you have the urge, and that's why it has to be a slow and steady pace, because we don't want to get back into having no money, because then our wonderful retailers in restaurants won't make it. So I know I have the urge to have a BLT now. So
Sorry about that.
I might have to call Sherry's and get one for a takeout for lunch. But, I believe that everyone is, again, I keep saying this because the local businesses we have here on Cape Ann are wonderful. Do I love going into Pauline's? Oh my God, I'm in there for hours. Laughing at Pop Gallery. You just laugh and have fun, and people know you when they wrap the gifts, and they ask about your family. You're not going to get that at a big box store, and you're also not going to get that from Amazon.
No.
Right. I think going forward, we're going to have to look. Number one, we as business leaders, opinion leaders, and our elected officials, we have to start messaging, whether it's PSAs, social media, and so forth. We need to start getting consumers feeling comfortable in the importance of shopping local once again, and how they can do it safely. We need to do that as soon as possible. We also need to, make sure that our consumers know what they need to do to be safe. And those that are particularly vulnerable need to be, more careful than those that are not as vulnerable. And there's a lot of education that needs to be done, both healthcare wise and economically, and we need to get at that right now.
John, I'm very impressed with your logic and your reasoning. So you've been at it for a while, and it shows. You're a seasoned professional here, speaking such knowledge. I'm going to go around to each when Pauline gets back, but I want to go to Donna, and I want to talk to you about what's happening in your neck of the woods. Then I'm going to go to Peg, and then I'll go to Pauline. Donna, your husband Rick he's my tech guy. He's he services a lot of the tech in town. Has he been he must be really crazy busy, because he does a lot of like home networking, and so many people have probably moved their businesses out from the city to the home offices. Can you speak to how busy
The
Rick
only
has been?
thing, and we have been, but I call them putting out little fires, doing the Zoom, doing the home networking, helping them acclimate to working from their offices. But the big problem is we can't go to the clients. So, we've done drop-offs, they leave it in our driveway, their laptop or whatever, we sanitize it, bring it in, and we go back. And that's been the only block, he can't just say, I'll be right down and do that.
Well,
for you."
on my computer, he had access to his
Well, you have
remote.
Team Viewer, but it's the problem with drives and printer drives
Right.
and things like that you just can't
You
do.
have
on
to
Team
physically
Viewer.
get it. Yeah. So, okay.
And that's another thing that we need relief on. A lot of these kind of businesses, consultants and so forth, by appointment only, right? And you can, without opening doors and so forth, whether you're maybe a jeweler, just someone going in to look for an engagement ring, or a car dealer, looking to sell a car, or someone looking to do something technology wise in your home. You can do this safely just by appointment only, and keep the social distancing, and that would be a nice next step even before May 18th.
And a lot of people we're doing a big move right now in Wellesley. Nobody's in the new building, so you can go in there without worrying that there's too many people.
So, Donna, I'm going to come back to you in a second because I want to get to Peg. Peg, give me your top 3 items for sale for Mother's Day. If you can, I'll give you.
Knowing in advance, I prepared.
What's that?
I said, knowing that in advance, I prepared. But
I'm sorry.
the hot item has been the face mask. I got to be honest with you. We have them in all kinds of colors and all kinds of prints. Unfortunately, sold out yesterday, and I'm waiting for a shipment more. But we had sugar skulls, so those were hot for the 5th of May, of course, Cinco de Mayo. And then we had floral prints, and we're going to have striped solids. We've been posting them on our website and on our social media every single day, because this is going to be the wave of the future. You're not going to board a plane without one of these ever again, I think. And I think you shouldn't. I honestly think that's like doing everybody a favor, whether you have a cold or you have something more serious. Another item that just came in, just so happens, I have it here. I don't know how well it's been able to be viewed. This is a company in Portland, Maine, husband and wife company called Chart Metalworks, and they custom design people's nautical charts. So this has the Gloucester Harbor map on it in a sterling silver, a little pewter bezel cup, the coordinates hanging there, and a compass rose on a chain. And Joey, for you, this is kind of like a non-gender specific, but we have these came all the way from a vendor in Holland, cool artist company in Holland. They're puzzles, and you literally put them together. So instead of a greeting card, and I have small ones with bumblebees, but check this out.
Oh,
it is
wow.
Fabulous.
That's really cool.
How it looks like literally
3D, yeah.
3D.
Yeah.
Put it together and assemble it. And it's got a little thingy that you hang on the wall. You can put it in your kitchen. They're super cute, and they're great for kids to have something sort of experiential to do. But that's not really for mom. But then also some scarves, which also function as face masks and face coverings, that wrap around and can be, worn in a variety of ways. And you can still speak through them because they're sheer cotton. And this particular one comes all the way from Madrid. Otoños, colores otoños, and have really cool little fish on there.
Oh,
and
very
I
cool.
have red, turquoise, blue. So I'd have to say those are kind of some of my favorites. And then last but not least, the wooden ship salty sweater in colors. So that's been a really popular. We've been posting every single day on our social media what we've got new stuff coming in. One of our favorite is going to be matching face masks with clothing.
Peg, can you say your what website you'd like people to go to? Because Pat Dalpiaz will enter into the show notes right now. So
so poponmaine.com, That brings you to our splash page with the lovely and talented vignette updated for all the COVID-18 protocol that we're doing, all the information about how we ship, etc. But then it links you to Facebook and Instagram, and that's where we're posting every single day, local models wearing our stuff, and and in-store virtual tours available, shipping. I've been at the post office. Here's the good news: we've been supporting USPS like let the post office live.
Yes.
All for it. They've been super, just wonderful. The postmasters chased down boxes for us the last couple of weeks. Arwen Severance and I at the bookstore have been tag teaming, accepting each other's packages. It's been amazing.
Awesome.
So we're shipping.
Dave,
So go to our Facebook and Insta and you'll see the
poponmain.com.
That's it.
I'm assuming, because I don't have access to it now to see what's happening in the comments, but Pat Dalpiaz has been manning that. You didn't get the message, Pauline, but what I asked the other two, and I'm going to get to Donna next. Give me your top 3 Mother's Day gifts at Pauline's Gifts.
Okay, right now you want me to do it?
Yes.
Top 3 gifts. Any of my painted items, so you see them behind me, any mailboxes or watering cans, the buoy bird feeder, which Donna owns one.
Yeah.
And so they're really popular gifts. The other items that I sell a lot of all my spinners, flags, American flags, those are the garden flags for your garden, any of those. People have called this week, but I think the one that's gotten the most attention is my my bullshit. So we got
Great.
bullshit, we got
Excellent.
shit,
excellent.
we got good shit. And honest to God, it comes, and you can give it to Mom in a sack of shit.
Oh, genius.
Perfect.
So I have to tell you, I got a call from a woman yesterday in Colorado. She saw Safathia has been doing Zoom meetings, the mayor, and I had gifted her a bag with bullshit in it, because I said, I know you've been putting up with a lot of this, so I thought I'd add to it. And she actually sent it out to some officials in the state. And hopefully when this is all over, we'll be able to share some great photos. And I have had calls from all over the country. And now we're talking Europe too, to get some of my shit.
We should mention those are barbecue rubs, just in case, and seasonings. So people should.
Yeah, and they kind of, we even have no shit that's good with no salt in it. They're all MSG free. And I did a video, and I think more people are laughing at me saying the word than anything else, because it isn't something I would normally say. But I'm a great capitalist. I believe in, in this. I love my business. I love being a retailer. 21 years this year. And I worked on Main Street at Blanchard's for 8 years. And before that on Bearskin Neck. So it's always been my dream to own a store, and I've been blessed to have it for 21 years.
Pauline, where can people find, what social media link would you like to share? Because Pat Dalpiaz will enter that into the show notes.
Yeah, my website is paulinesgifts.com. Everything I do is Pauline's Gifts, whether it's Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and my website. Everything is Pauline's Gifts.
We're gonna have a vote. We're gonna have a vote when this is all over. Who has the bigger North Shore accent, Pauline or Donna Ardizzoni? We're gonna see who drops more R's, Pauline or Donna.
Hey, I want an app on my phone that will recognize what I'm saying. Somebody make an app for New England accent, because when I say park my car, it comes out with such gibberish. I don't know. So,
my husband has to do my Bluetooth because it doesn't understand me half the time.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's what I
hilarious.
mean. But I know I have a very strong accent, but
So
it's
I don't hear it.
So
I
Donna,
don't hear
of course you don't. Donna, you're next. You're Donna Ardizzoni Photography. I know you have a line of products. It's not just your framed prints. You have other things as well. So why don't you highlight your top 3 gifts for Mother's Day?
Okay, cards. People love these because they can frame them.
Cards.
Cards.
Cards. You got the cards over here.
I'm translating for you, okay?
I also did, let me go grab it. Oh, I'm running.
I sold out of her, I actually sold Donna's calendars here at Christmas. We sold
Thank
out.
you very much.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were
Here's
big.
another one. They're coasters.
Coasters. I got them. I got your coasters. We've been using them every day, Donna.
Coasters,
Yep.
which were huge at Christmas time for teachers. And, Rick just threw me this. My placemats.
Oh, that's great.
Joey,
Great.
placemats.
Oh, I want that.
Placemats as
Hunky
well.
dory on those. Awesome.
These are really cute for your grandchildren. Take a
You wipe
picture of
them
them
off.
and then you make one.
Here's
And
one
this
thing
is
about
my
that,
new
Donna.
wine.
Easy to wipe, and you can use hand sanitizer on it.
Exactly. Here's a new one. It's a beach towel.
Oh,
of the
wow.
American Wheel.
Very nice.
Oh, nice.
Awesome,
So,
Donna.
like
Awesome.
again, you got to start thinking outside the box when we're in these times.
Yep.
Because the art shows aren't there, but your websites are very important to keep up. In trying to help other people as well. I'm lucky. Even though my husband and I are here together 24/7, but I go to the beach in my parka for an hour every day.
Your pocket.
And a
In a
paca.
paca.
You gotta get in a paca.
My parka.
So Donna,
Yesterday I had my parka and it was cold, but
so
we're
Donna,
trying.
what
I'm sorry.
website can people find your stuff at? So Pat can put it in the show notes.
ArdizzoniPhotography.com. ARDIZZONI.
There you go.
Photography.com.
Awesome.
But I love
Putting
placemats. My favorite. It's been
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
Donna, for
those.
putting your images daily on Facebook and Instagram, because for those of us not always able to get to the beach or trying to, work at home, it really is a breath of fresh air. I mean that
Yeah.
sincerely. Good
Well,
job.
if I didn't
Done.
live here right now through this,
Oh,
I don't know how I would do.
Yeah.
I mean,
Donnie, you want to do a quick update about Magnolia, the
Pier?
farmer's market or anything? Quick update.
well, they're trying to get this going by Memorial Day, the farmer's market. Things may be pushed a little bit. The pier is at a standstill. It's almost done, but they can't work out there right now
Mhm.
because of they're really in close proximity to each other. But we're hopefully, I want to jump off that pier. That's my goal this summer.
Have you ever done it, Don? Have you ever
I
jumped
did.
off? You
Yep.
did?
Mhm.
Who wants to take a long walk off a short pier for short time around?
I don't
So,
jump from the railing though. I'm not climbing that railing and going over.
Pauline, I knew you had a bunch of questions. I just want to make sure before we sign off that you asked all the questions while we had John here that you had for him.
I think there was, wait, one more. No, well, a couple of the questions he answered in the question I asked. So,
Okay. John, where can people find your information and
They can,
check it
sure,
out?
they can find us on the internet at retailersma.org.
RetailersMA.
Retailers Association of Massachusetts, and our website is retailersma.org. O-R-G.
That's awesome.
and you'll be stating that with the rules, because I actually got called from the police department when I had posted something on our website about doing by appointment. Somebody called it into the Gloucester Police. I got a lovely call from Officer Connolly, who was great. But again, like there seem to be some very erroneous rules. So is retailers mass going to give the real details?
You can through our website, you can get the latest on what the rules are, the state rules, and you can connect into the mass.gov, the particular locations, also to the National Retail Federation. If you're a member of the Retailers Association of Massachusetts, you automatically get a free membership at the National Retail Federation. They have a a whole slew of great data there for reopening and customer service, and also connecting to the CDC for, good, important protocols. So you can find it all there, not only our information, but to get to other sources as well.
That's awesome. Well,
Thank you.
guys. Thank you. Thanks for
Thank
showing
you.
up. Shop local. We have our
Blowing kisses.
yeah. Hey, Donna, great to see you again, honey. I feel
Thank you,
it's been
sweetheart.
forever since I've seen you.
No,
Pauline,
love you all.
Pauline, I'm loving your ads, and I don't care how much bullshit you put out. They're fantastic.
They're great.
Good
Peg, it's
job.
wonderful. John, I hope I see you down Main Street in Gloucester.
You
That's
will.
all.
Thank you all.
Thank
All
you.
that the retailers do for us. Thank you.
Don't forget,
Thank you all for the invitation.
don't forget Mother. Most importantly, don't forget Mother. It's coming up. Before you know it, it's going to be here.
It's this Sunday.
All right. I'll see you
I love
guys.
you all. I
Have-
miss you. I
you.
can't wait to hug you.
Have a great